So just getting started into the world of shooting and you have no idea where to start. And, sometimes when we go into these gun shops, they have a big wall of products and, all the things that you need to purchase and you have no idea where to start because it is very overwhelming. Well, in this video, I want to talk about the products that I use to clean my rifle. And of course, I'm going to give you some tips on how to clean your rifle as well. So cleaning your rifle is an important step of making sure that it is maintained properly. And of course, keeping up with the accuracy as well, because when you're into precision shooting, when you don't clean your rifle after a long period of time, it can reduce your accuracy. And I know some of the bench rest guys out there, even myself, we clean our rifles every single time after a match, or even some guys clean their rifles between every single round. Now, just recently, I put up a poll on my community tab. Make sure you check these community tabs out because I've got a lot of interesting things in there. But the results were very, very interesting. Out of 18 votes, 50% of people clean their rifle after every single match. 22% clean it after every month. And surprisingly, 28% never clean their rifles. So I found that poll very, very fascinating because I live in the world of bench rest shooting, and some of these guys are pure fanatical about how they clean their rifles and just the dedication they go into cleaning. So depending on what you want to do and how in depth, cleaning is a very subjective thing, and it's really a personal preference. Like everybody's got their favorite pair of underwear. It's sort of similar with cleaning. There is so many different ways, styles, chemicals out there that you can choose, and some of the guys are really point on how you need to do it. If you don't do it their way, you're wrong. I think cleaning your rifles is a very personal experience. And, the way that I do it, I know some people out there will not agree with me. And, they'll leave a comment saying, oh, back in the 1950s, we did it like this. That's cool. But, one thing I want to express for, new shooters is don't be afraid of cleaning. It is a very personal thing. So yes, let's get into some of the basic equipment that you'll need when starting off. First of all, you'll need a cleaning rod. I highly recommend that you get a single piece rod. Now they do come in like a stainless steel or a carbon fiber. I've always used this Hoppe's number 9 rod, and it's lasted me for a couple of years. Yes, some of these rods, I can't remember what I paid. I think it's about $100 I paid for this rod. But, it's perfect. It's still in nearly brand new condition, after the amount of use that I have put through it. So don't be afraid to spend your money on like a good cleaning rod because it will last you a very, very long time. Now, the next thing that you need to look at whether you're going to use solvents or abrasives now when cleaning your rifle. There are many different brands of solvents out there. I like Bortec. I love Bortec, and I've used Rimfire blend, in all my rifles, and it works an absolute treat. I've just recently got the carbon remover just for a try of it, but the Bortec products, I can't fault them simply because they do a wonderful, wonderful job of stripping out all the gunk and goo out of my rifle. And it's, it is a chemical, but it's not. I don't find it that harsh. Hoppe's number 9. Some of that ball remover stuff is like paint thinner. It is extremely toxic, especially if you're doing it inside your house. These chemicals, you do need to have a very well ventilated area, but I found Hoppe's was way too much chemical to handle with, and especially when you got it on your skin, it absolutely burnt like crazy. Now, the next little thing that I recommend that you get is just get yourself a small can of G96. It's a fantastic gun lube, especially when you're cleaning a bolt or any other parts around your rifle. You can use G96 on pretty much everything. It just is an all-round great cleaner, especially after you go through it with a solvent. You want to make sure that you go through and run a wet patch of G96 through your barrel just as a final. The next thing that you'll need, and I highly recommend, is a bore guide. Go to your local gun store and ask for your particular rifle model bore guide. It'll make your life a lot easier and a lot less mess. It'll save a lot of the chemical getting down into your triggers. Next thing you'll need some nylon brushes. Now, you can buy nylon brushes that are, similar like this. They have like a fairly big head on it, and then they got like a little brush at the side. They do come in the brass version as well. I use both of them. But, if you don't want to lash out and get yourself some fancy little brushes from the shop, find yourself an old toothbrush. It's exactly the same thing. An old toothbrush that you got laying around will work just the same. The next cleaning essential is just a packet of patches. When you're at the shop, just buy yourself the caliber that you have for your rifle. Now, I guess this next thing is where it gets a little bit more personalized, whether you want to clean your rifle with solvent or if you want to clean your rifle with an abrasive. So an osso is a really, really good. One of the old guys got me onto it. It's like a bit of a secret sauce, and the amount of crap that my rifle gets stripped out of this stuff is simply amazing. So, once a month I give my rifle a good cleaning with an osso, really as a good deep clean as an abrasive. Now, the next couple of things that you will need is just the end parts of your cleaning rod. Now, people sometimes get a little bit upset whether you use a brass brush or a nylon brush. This is when it gets fun. A lot of people can get upset saying, "Oh, brushes can damage and do a lot of bad things towards your barrel, and it's more safer to use a nylon brush." I haven't seen that yet. Unless you're absolutely going crazy, then maybe your bronze brush could cause a little bit of damage to your barrel. But through my experience and talking to a lot of the other guys that are very, very experienced shooters, bronze brushes will not hurt your barrel at all. And of course, the other little part is your jag. Well, that jag is where you put your patches on to push through your barrel. So yes, now I'm going to move into the tips section of this video, where I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to clean your rifle. Now, when I first began shooting, I had absolutely no idea how to clean my rifle, and as it was a very, very scary part of the process, and I had to get one of my friends to come over and help me and show me exactly what to do. Now, I'm going to share you my thoughts and opinions. Now, it is my thoughts and opinions, and as I said, a lot of people have their own opinions on how to clean a rifle because it is such a personalized experience. And, I just want to get you guys started so you know where to begin. And that way you can build your own skills and form your own way of cleaning your rifles. Step number one, when cleaning your rifle, make sure it is on a place that is comfortable to you. And the most important factor is that you need to ensure that your rifle is clear of your bolt and any rounds in it. Now, this particular rifle, it does have a magazine in it. The magazine is empty, and I do have a chamber flag. All my rifles in my safe, they live with the chamber flag, and the bolts are removed and put in a totally different location. That way, there is absolutely zero chance of this rifle going off when we're moving it around the house. So pretty much the first step that you need to do when starting your cleaning your rimfire rifle or any rifle that matter is inserting your bore guide. It is simply just sliding it down inside the chamber until you hear the locking mechanism click into place. That way your bore guide is secure. Now, sometimes you do have to give it a bit of a twist and turn for it to lock in, and now it is locked in place. So now the next step of the process is putting your jag on the end of your cleaning rod. It is very, very simple. They're all just screw thread, and they thread on very, very easy. Now, sometimes the jag does get a little bit tight on there when you're throwing it through your barrel. Sometimes, I've had to use a little set of vice grips to undo this, especially when changing from the jag to the brush. But, you can buy a second cleaning rod, which I've pretty much done. Now, the next step of the process is very, very simple. This is when it becomes individualized. I like to push first patch is a dry patch through the barrel. Now, if you look down your barrel, you'll see inside your barrel all the gunk and lead. It's very, very dirty. So I recommend that you push through a dry patch. That way you just push out all that crap before you get into the cleaning process. So you'll see here as I'm pushing through the dry patch, you can see how very, very dirty it is, and you may have seen some of the gunk and garbage come out onto the table. A lot of that is just the loose lead and what have you that is still stuck in the barrel. Now, with this sort of process, you can, go there and remove the patch yourself, but, I just gently like to pull it back and the patch will fall off by itself. So if you have a look here, you can clearly see this is just a dry patch pushed through the barrel. The amount of lead and fouling that's in there, is amazing. I clean my rifle after every single match, and the amount of gunk is in there. I wouldn't like to wait a month to clean this rifle, that's for sure, because it would be absolutely filthy. So that is an example of how much gunk can get in your rifles. So the next part we move on to when you're cleaning your rifle is getting a solvent. Now, it is exactly the same as preparing your jag. Put your patch on it, and what you need to do is get yourself some Rimfire blend, or some form of solvent that you like to use. As I said, there are many different types and brands out there. Find the one that you like, and it is simply as putting a few drops on the end of your patch. Once your patch is fairly well soaked, you want to run your patch through your barrel. I generally like to do that roughly 2 to 3 times. Then what you want to do is soak your patch. Now, I've been doing it with Rimfire blend, and this next one I'm going to do with the carbon remover from Vortec as well. So what you want to do is get yourself a patch and just push it just inside of the chamber. What that'll do is you want to dissolve the carbon ring. Carbon ring in a rimfire is your worst nightmare. That is where most of your accuracy is lost, when you have a buildup of carbon, which check it out on YouTube. There are many videos that demonstrate it, but essentially it is a ring of carbon that gets built up just inside your chamber. So you want to get rid of that. Ideally, soak a patch in your carbon remover, Rimfire blend, whatever. Leave it there. Go out for a smoke. Go for a cup of coffee. Whatever. Let it sit there for 10 minutes. It's not going to hurt your barrel. Let the chemical work its magic. Once it has been sitting there for a while, push your patch through, and then you can start using dry patches afterwards. Once you have completed that and you've got your solvent in your barrel, you want to go through with your dry patches and just keep pushing patches through until your barrel is squeaky clean and your patches are coming out clean. Again, it is a very personalized thing. You might want to go through until your patches are, almost clean, still seeing a little bit of carbon on them. Again, it all depends on what you want to achieve. Once you have done that, put a bit of a wet patch, a G96, push that through your barrel. That way it'll stop any corrosion or anything going wrong in your barrel. So once you have completed the barrel cleaning aspect of your rifle cleaning, now you want to move on to the chamber. As mentioned before, you can use one of those nylon brushes or a toothbrush. I generally like to use just a quick little spray of G96 and, give the inside of my chamber a bit of a scrub out, and that's pretty much it. I don't really focus too much on that area of my rifle. Bolt maintenance is pretty much exactly the same as the rest of your rifle. Now, you can either use a nylon brush. I prefer to use a nylon brush on my bolts because, it's just a little bit more sensitive, with the springs and everything like that. Give your bolt a good clean, get rid of all the carbon. And, depending on what rifle I have, whether I'm going to use G96 on my bolt or I'm going to use another lubricant. Again, it is a very personalized thing. So once I have got my bolt all lubed up, it gets put away. After that, the rifle is all nicely cleaned. You want to give the external of your rifle a quick wipe over with G96. That way it stops any surface rust, especially, if you live in a humid climate, surface rust will happen on your rifle pretty much within a week. It's from the oils of your finger. Make sure, like when you're wiping down your barrels, make sure you're not leaving any oily residue on anything, because that can start your surface rust. So now we have taken the time to learn about cleaning your rimfire rifle, and we talked about the products that you need to get. I highly recommend that you check out my next video here that goes through some of the other equipment that you need in your shooting journey.